What's up stitchers, my name is Michael and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you how I made the back piece of the life-size Among Us crewmate. If you haven't seen my other videos on how I created the legs and the body, then do check it out. It'll be in this corner up here I think. And then come back to this video so you can see how we got to where we are now. We are nearing the end of this project. We just have the visor to go after this, and then I will be releasing a tutorial of how I knit the normal size smaller one. So if you're looking forward to that, then do subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. And I have an Instagram which I update sometimes on what I'm knitting, so if you want to follow me over there, that's at SmikleGoesKnitting. Again, I'm going to keep this introduction short so I don't bore you to death. If you like this video then do give it a like, but without further ado, let's get into the video. I do just want to hop in and quickly say that the maths I said in the first video of the 6-inch crewmate having to times it by 6 to get to this height, I actually times it by 7. I don't know why I thought I times it by 6, but I times it by 7, so it's still the right height, but I just said my words wrong. So for a bit of context, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be knitting a panel in the shape of this kind of net thingy, and then I'm going to be seaming up the corners together and then seaming that to the actual crewmate. Here I'm just showing you how big the back is supposed to be. I don't actually think this was big enough, so I'm going to extend it and make it a bit longer on the bigger one. So now using the long tail cast on, I'm going to cast on a number of stitches to do the bottom wedge of the little panel that I'm going to be making. I do have a video showing you how to do this in detail, so click up in the top corner if you want to see that before continuing on. Now I'm just going to be knitting the stockinette stitch, so knitting one row, then purling the next, and repeating that on until this is the length I want it before I cast on stitches to extend the sides. And this is what the bottom little section looks like. Now to make the little side panels so that I can seam up the corners together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be knitting this row, and then when I get to the end, using the backwards loop cast on method, I'm going to be casting on the same number of stitches as I did rows so that it's the same length of the height of the bottom, if that makes sense. And now for the row immediately after that, I'm going to be purling all the way to the end, including these stitches I've just cast on. And again, I'm going to be doing the same thing using the backwards loop cast on method, so it looks like this. Now, I didn't want to bore you with a full montage of me knitting it, so here's just a brief kind of halfway point of how it looks before I've cast off the stitches to make the top look symmetrical to the bottom. And I just wanted to check how big I needed to be. Like I said before, I'm not 100% sure how long I wanted to make it because the smaller one was slightly off. So as you can see here, it needs a bit more length added to it. One thing I should mention is that the top and bottom notch and each of the side flaps don't actually add any length to the actual backpack. It is how it comes out away from the crewmate, so that's how it makes it like the sides of the square really. So the length of those don't really matter when it comes to making sure it's the right length for the crewmate. So now using the standard bind off method, which I show you in detail how to do and talk about the pros and cons in another video, so click the top right hand corner if you're interested in that. I'm just binding off the number of stitches that I casted on previously, so once I finish binding these off I will be just knitting till the end of the row. And this is what a standard bind off looks like, just in case you were wondering. For the row immediately after, you're going to do the same thing but purling. So you'll be doing the standard bind off but just purling the row. And again, once you have done that, you just purl the rest of the stitches. And from here, you just want to knit and purl the same number of rows that you did for the bottom little notch you did. And then you will be at a point to cast off. And as you can see in this clip, again, I'm just doing your standard bind off method because you don't really need too much stretch for this and it's going to give a bit of structure. and you end up with something that looks like this. It's quite hard to see what it looks like because it's all curly, but as you can see, it's all pinned out now and it's the shape that I wanted, so that's all good. And I made sure to leave a long tail so there's enough tail left to seam the two sides together. Now that we've done all that, it's time to move on to my least favourite thing about knitting, and that is seaming up all the sides. So once you have thread your tapestry needle, you are going to want to find the two corner sides. So that's a little cutout square from the top corner, and you want to stitch along so it turns out like this. And now you want to do the same thing to the other three corners, and you'll end up with something that looks like this. It's a bit like a square with a hole cut out and a bit flimsy, but it's fine, you'll be stuffing it. Now, using the tail that you cut very long, you want to stitch, using the mattress stitch, the backpack thing onto the crewmate. It's very time consuming and very boring. It's not my most favourite thing to do, but it is essential. So you want to do 3.5 of the sides so you have a little bit of a gap open so you can move on to the stuffing. So using the same stuffing that I used for the body, I am now going to stuff the back. As you can probably tell, I'm not the most versed in stuffing and it takes a long time. You get the idea. And now we have a bit of a reveal. And there we have it, the finalised backpack. As you'll see from the clips I've just shown you and this here, it's nice and sewn on. It's basically seamless on the side, which I'm very happy with how that turned out. Along the top is basically seamless as well, which is very nice. It's really starting to come together. It definitely does not stand up. You stand it up and it buckles at the legs and then falls face first, which is not ideal. But that's probably to do with my ability to stuff the knitting with the polyester stuffing. I mean, it probably wouldn't stand up anyway, realistically. It's very hefty. As you can tell, it's taking up most of the screen. Again, I'm sitting it on my lap like it's my child. I kind of feel like it is my child at this point. It's getting quite heavy. Obviously nowhere near the £92, but it is 3'6". The back, it could have done with a bit more stuffing, I'll be completely honest. I probably could have stuffed it a bit firmer, but I was running quite low on stuffing and I didn't want to buy any more because I didn't want to have to wait for the shipping. You know, the UK's gone into lockdown again, so that's gonna make everything go manic, and online everyone's gonna be shopping, so I just wanted to get it done. So I've saved quite a bit of stuffing for the visor and I've stuffed this, but as you can see, it's like there's bits that just aren't really stuffed that well, but you know, it's not the worst thing. It's still a very, very lovely project. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like so I know that you guys are finding this entertaining. If you're not, that would suck because I spent so much time and energy on this. And subscribe if you want to see the final reveal next week and the tutorial the week after. So click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. If you want to follow me on Instagram, please feel free. It's at SmikleGoesKnitting. I'm not the most consistent poster, but I try and post things that are of good quality and that I hope you'll enjoy. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in knitting one of these bad boys. Probably not life size, but more normal size, the 6" model. I'd love to see what you guys are working on at the moment, so do tag me in anything you're working on. And yeah, that's all from me this week. Stay wholesome and happy knitting.